been working on Taarifa, which is, as you can see, it's a platform, it's an open source web application for information collection, visualization, and interactive mapping. Basically does everything, so you can create standard forms, put them into a database, query that database, pull things back out again, load it up really quickly, and you have multiple instances of it. So it's been running, I think, from another hackathon, came out, grew out of that, and it's carried on as a project. And what Mark and Nico wanted to get out of it this weekend was an API that would be usable and functional and allow people to extend it in other ways. Also, they wanted to ensure that all the open data standards, like 311, is that right?
Yeah. 311.
We'll use that as an example, that it would work in that format very quickly, and we could move towards other ones that were slightly different formats, and there wasn't going to be a big massive confusion or tie us into one particular thing. So that was the challenge, really, to get the API up and working and to retain that kind of extendability. And so we started basically for the morning talking about what kind of specs we wanted, and we went through very sort of detailed specs for the things that we were going to do, and then we sat down, divvied up the various tasks, divided them up. Nico stunningly just sort of wrote the API. It was, it was a remarkable thing to see. And 2 minutes later, there it was, and it was working, and we could test it. So I tested some of it, and it worked. Yeah, we could push a text-based HTML to.
Oh.
Live demo, always going to happen. I'll just keep on talking. We could push a text-based HTML page to it, receive it, store it. It worked. Awesome, awesome fun. Right, so other things that then needed to be done was to kind of extend that and use it more carefully, and obviously get a test front page in, which Drew did. So
yeah.
I'll switch over to you.
Sure.
And let you do some talking.
I'll just drive from over here.
Okay.
So I put together a quick little PHP app that is actually talking to. This is the API URL right here, and actually let me go back so we get a clear it out. So this is just real quickly. It can test out the Taarifa API, which is API dot Taarifa dot what was it, org? Oh gosh. Yeah. All right. Cool. And we can now we can query reports, and live demo. So of course, like let's see if this actually works. Boom. So these are so the idea is that the system takes in reports. You report like, oh, there's something going on in this area, or there's a pothole I need fixed, or there's flooding over here. Any type of report in any format you want to use. 311 format, you want to use whatever other formats there are. If you make your own format, you can do that, and the format is tied to the result. And and here's a number of test results with just a few attributes. And you can also query what services. So this is the standards, the protocol, I suppose you could say. The API gives you a list of the different standards, and there's much information to, I guess, parse out of here. And then you can also submit reports. So we can, say the H4D2 at, and I memorize the longitude and latitude of this place. And we'll give it a report ID and submit that, and the system's going to say, oh, hey, we got your thing, and I can then look it up here, and there it is. a brilliantly simple API. Yeah.
Fantastic. So
Yep.
there are obviously other things. We achieved the kind of core, get the A5 working, it does work. And there was great value actually in the conversation of how we were going to do it, many other ideas. And the one thing we went for at the end of the day was this is all customizable. Everything is customizable. So there will be, theoretically, if you want 311, there will be a template for that. And if you want Pygmy, there will be a template for that. So it's really just a case of building the templates, and there they are available to people, but fundamentally it's still always custom. So you could have 311 with a custom field at the bottom for whatever you wanted. You could parse out the custom field and still have your data in that particular format. So, and as I was thinking, this doesn't need to just be things for disaster relief. This could be absolutely anything, like the public reporting on, say, wildlife, you know, where the squirrels have been seen. Have you seen a red squirrel? There was that API to do it, or boats, or absolutely anything that you want to gather data. So it's quite exciting. Other things that we need to do is we need to do some validation if we're going to go for formats and stuff like that. So we need to be able to tweak it and say this isn't 311, even though you've tried to fill it in that way and return it back. So we haven't got that far. Stuff that I was working on that isn't plugged in yet was how do we send stuff that is not necessarily just text-based. How do we send pictures? How do we send potentially other things? So I was looking at that. I've got, theoretically, I can send a picture, no problem, that's not a problem, and I'm very, very, very close to being able to receive the picture and parse it into the MongoDB database, which chunks stuff. Once that's done, then because there are MIME objects, and I learned an awful lot about that in the last 24 hours, really anything can go across that way. So that's something I'm going to be working on over the next 2 weeks. I think I'll take this home and tinker with it, and you should be able to send zips or videos or whatever and parse it into your instance of Taarifa. And another great idea that came out of this whole thing, again, the talking was probably more valuable than the API building in a sense, was maybe trying to get Taarifa to work on a distributed sort of platform. Just a sort of idea of maybe even having it kind of like a Tor node, that you would have your instance of Taarifa in, say, your disaster zone. That's fine, you're running it yourself, but let's say there's another guy in Mexico that out of the goodness of his heart and his processing power is running a Taarifa node, so everything is synced to a safe place. So if there is an aftershock and something happens, disastrous happens to the stuff that's on the ground, then it's all synced and it's backed up. And if every instance came with something like a PGP key, that data could be encrypted and sent over to the node. And as long as you've still got the key, always key management is the problem. But what I'm saying is the guy that's running it wouldn't necessarily know your data. He could be taking data for Taarifa instances all around the globe, and it would be encrypted, and he wouldn't need to know what it was. So that was an idea that came out of it. Anything else to say?
Yeah, I'm not really, but I came here with my a budding project that was so similar that now I'm just gonna drop what I was doing and jump into this. So I think I mean, I don't go to many hackathons, but it feels like we merged two different streams, which was.
And Lisa and I are doing Space Apps NASA Hackathon next weekend, and I've already figured out that one of the challenges, the Share My Story one, we could use this for it.
Totally, yeah.
We spend a week getting the video working. That would work perfectly for it.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Yay!